during the week that had to talk about education. One had to do with the curriculum. Another one had to do with, how people who graduate with honors are awarded. Now, for example, we saw how the Big Brother Nigerian artists were awarded. They were given millions of naira. They were given cars and all of that. But then when someone graduates from school with a first class, what is he given? What is he given? Maybe 10,000 naira, maybe what do you call this now? A mug with the school's inscription on it, or who knows, maybe some a plaque with, poorly done, by the way, with the inscription best graduating student. But then, what has that got to do with the person's future? So I'm gonna be reading the article for you so you can get an idea what we are talking about. And also we're going to be looking at how much, was even earmarked for education in the 2020 budget, because I'm looking at it and it's just a meager 48 million, even though I will agree that 112 million was, earmarked for the, what do you call that, the Basic Education Commission in the 2020 budget. But let's go to the article that is captioned Nigerian school curriculum not in tune with 21st century challenges. And this is coming from AHI. Now, a co-founder and director Action Health Incorporated, Uwemedimo Asiat, has expressed concern over the inability of the Nigerian school curriculum to meet up with the changing requirements of the 21st century contemporary job market. Now, Asiat, who spoke at the 26th annual Teenage Festival of Life organized by AHI in partnership with Lagos State Government, said that some of the skills required to create jobs or stay relevant globally were not being taught in our institutions. Take, for instance, industry like animation or artificial intelligence can absorb a lot of unemployed youth if they are skilled in that area. But tell me how many higher institutions in Nigeria are offering courses in that area. Our school system is not responding to some of these challenges. We need to change ourselves as a nation and people. If we say democracy is government of the people, for the people, then Nigerians have the right to set agenda for the government, and that is what Action Health is doing through this platform. Now, ACET, while addressing a cross-section of secondary school students across Lagos State at the University of Lagos main auditorium, advised them to discover their talent and follow it passionately. Don't get angry with your parents if they have contrary views. Rather, look serious into your passion. Motivate your parents, because a lot of parents are ready to support the children so long he or she is serious in what he intends to do. The guest speaker and co-founder of Quadron XRU, Temidayo Odunlami, said that animation industry was one of the prospective areas that could absorb many young graduates, adding, but sadly, no higher institution in Nigeria is looking towards that direction. Well, a quick question. Now, you've been through the four walls of the university. Do you think our universities prepare us for the reality in the world?
I'm of the opinion that even though some people would say that the popular talk that universities is scam, I don't think that is. I think the university sort of prepares you for what you would, or gives you a fair idea of what to expect when you
Really,
come
it
into
does?
the
It
labor
does?
market. Honestly, it does. It prepares you intellectually, it prepares you otherwise. I think where people have the issue is the fact that looking at our society doesn't totally embrace graduates. But if you want to keep body and soul together in the country, you have to be an entrepreneur, have one skill or another, or be able. The truth is, the university helps you to be it helps you to be teachable. All right, it helps you to be one that can easily adapt in any sort of environment. So yes, I don't feel that it's a total waste of time.
Look at where the world is going to. There's the artificial intelligence. There is the technology advancement. There is the in farming, I heard that you don't need soil to plant to plants. All you need, there's this new technology that allows you grow plants without even a soil. I mean, the world is moving at a fast pace, yet Nigeria seems to be, arguing whether we should diversify now or later. And This
The
has to
truth
do a
is,
lot with our university
the truth is
graduates.
that's where our university has an issue. The thing is, if the university does not keep up to date with the change in knowledge, the advancements in knowledge, they would just give to the graduates or to the students what they already know. They can't teach you what they don't know. So I think the problem is with the advancements in our universities. Our universities have to also evolve with other teaching facilities all over the world. If our universities do not evolve, then knowledge becomes redundant here. I mean, what we'll be learning is what people have, used and gotten over with.
sorry, how do we evolve when we are earmarking 48 million or billion, sorry, for education? I mean, do you know how much it costs to do research? Do we even do research in Nigeria? Let's be frank about it. Do we do research? I hear Samsung, a company. You use a Samsung. Okay, you know Samsung phones and all of the likes. Now they spend 20 billion naira for research. 20, and that's a company. This is a nation. Do we have universities that spend so much money on research? I mean, you did your long essay. How much did you spend on research?
Well, whether we have universities that spend a lot of these universities are federally owned, so it's for the federal government to put in all that monies into the universities. Other than that, I don't see how the universities can evolve on their own unless they're privately owned. So.
Now let's also look at the attitude of students. Now let's look. Do you think there's the right incentives, or there are the right incentives for them to go to school? Because, like you said, some people have the narrative or have the belief that going to school right about now is a scam. Now, you remember last week, was it last week or this week, where we talked about 13 million, how many million children again
13.
13 million children out of school. And of course there was the talk about child marriages, where a lot of these children, about, is it I can't remember the figures now, but we talked about it as well, where a lot of these young people who are out of school, especially the female gender, are sent to homes as wives. They get married off at a very young age. Now, we've seen the federal government come out with some incentives, like Operation, what's that SIP program now? Is it Feed? I can't remember the name of it, but where they go to schools and give these kids food to eat. Basically trying to attract these children back to school. Meanwhile, there is the issue of lack of teachers. There's the issue of, sometimes if you go to some schools in River State, no proper tools for learning, no good classrooms. There's also all of these issues. But then again, yes, the government is trying. There's the free education. There is the other things that the government is trying to do. But do you really think, I mean, looking beyond, feeding the students and the pupils, looking beyond free education, do you think there is proper, or there are proper incentives for students? Because I'm looking at this report from Premium Times, and I am seeing that some people graduated from the university with honors, and they were given yam and fowl. Another person was given 200 naira for being the best graduating student. And when you look at all of these things, you would wonder, really. One other person was given 1,000 naira. I'm just trying to peruse through the report. Another person say he received 2,000 naira. Another person say he received 1,000 naira. So these are the ways they award best. I mean, think about it. Do you think there are enough incentives for students? Because yet again, somebody will say, if I leave school now, go do yahoo, I will get. If I leave school, go do yahoo, I'll get more money. Do you think, because yet again, wealth, if we do not get our education right, then probably the talk of getting to the promised land might just be a dream and only a dream.
Yes, that's very true. Well, first off, starting off with the 30 million children out of school. The truth is, over the years, we've heard that government is putting in a lot of efforts in building schools and, trying to make sure that there's free and compulsory education for every child in the state, or in their states rather. But we find that every time it looks like this effort is not yielding positive response, and it's not giving the right results as expected. Most of the children will tell you that even if they go to schools, their parents will not be able to provide for them food. I mean, you go to school in the morning and you come back and there's nothing to eat, even after not eating in the morning. And then a lot of them will tell you that most of the schools, even though they're set free, they
still
actually
get to
are
pay
not
for
as free as that, and their parents can still not afford whatever charges will be meted on them when they get to this free and compulsory school buildings and organized by the federal government. A whole lot of complaints and reasons have been given by the children, by their parents, and then we've seen that sometimes the government tries to up efforts to create policies to make sure that these kids do not wander around or probably hawk around in the states instead of being in school. And then they've also tried to create policies and some sort of punishments for parents who would allow their kids stray around instead of going to school and everything. But then we don't see all of this completely yield results for us in the States. And that's been a thing of great ponder, because honestly, if these kids don't go to school, and then with the the outrageous amount of people we have in this country, all right, if we have half the population ignorant and unemployable, then you can only imagine what the future would be like for Nigeria.
I mean, thuggery, robbery, insecurity.
I mean, a lot of them wind up becoming bandits, terrorists. A lot of them try to do one or two lousy things.
Prostitution will be on the rise.
To
all
see
of those
how
things,
they can make monies for themselves, and then all of this is it's going to drag the nation back. I mean, in the next 5 years, we want to think that Nigeria would be growing, advancing with technologies, from young people, young intellects, young academia, but then that won't be the case. And then the issue of now we don't have adequate schools, but the curriculums are not even good enough.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah. Now, even for the private schools as well, because honestly, the other day I was talking to my younger sister, and she was, I was asking her the sort of books they read in their literature class, and she told me the same old books that I read while I was
which
in
might
school.
have been the same old books that maybe someone another generation before yours might have read.
That's the truth. I mean, over the years, we've seen that a lot of things have changed. I mean, from style to formulas to different ways to and approaches to things that have to do with education, but then we're still dependent on the very old curriculum
and
that we started off with,
and style of teaching as well.
That's the thing. So the thing is, we now have like smaller information for our youth, for our children in school, and then they cannot compete globally, with the trends and the current happenings in other places. And then that's a big thing. And then people who actually even try to, up their games, especially the students in tertiary institutions that try to up their games, try to, expand their horizon and read more and try to be, as smart as can be, do not actually get the recognition that they deserve after school. And then when you look at all of this and then you ask yourself, okay, for an underdeveloped country or a developing country like ours, I mean, shouldn't we be shifting attention to education? All right. Just, I think last week there was a conference on education when the minister said that skills and entrepreneurship is the future for Nigeria as well as technology. And then you start to ask yourself, all of this. The government knows all of this, but how much is being put into, our schools to make sure that people, we don't just have students who go to school to learn how to become, the good old doctors and lawyers. What about people who would come out and, be, technical gurus? What about people who would just, all of these things that you've mentioned on paper and in the media, we've not seen them actually actualize, come to actualization so that the country can move forward. So it's quite sickening and it's quite scary for the future, honestly. It's really scary because everybody is just, I would say, caged. Because I have a friend who currently is into coding and all of this computer thing, and he will tell you that he dropped out of school 3 times. And why he did that was because every time you would be in class and the lecturer would be teaching, the only thing he teaches you is what he knows. He doesn't want to tell you.
I was going to go there because now even the teachers are a product of the same system. So now how can they give what they don't have? Maybe we should be thinking about taking our lecturers abroad for training because they need more training than we do, as a matter of fact. Because if they were from, you just talked about coding, if they were from C++, and now the world is way beyond C++, all they can teach us is C++, and we will be in the era of C++ when the world is probably in artificial intelligence.
Honestly, I even had an experience like that in school. A lecturer would teach you a certain thing, and maybe you have an idea of that same thing, and then you try to tell him a whole different approach from that, and they tell you that, oh, you're trying to be smarter than the person teaching you and everything. So it doesn't really help our educational system. It just has a way of causing this decadence. Students become lazy, the lecturers become, tired of saying the same things over and over, year after year to, different sets of people. And then you find that there will just be this collapse in the system.
All right, and thank you very much for that. I mean, you were just, were you having an outburst? Were you venting? Do you have a problem with the educational sector or something? I was just listening to you.
I'm guessing everybody does.
All right, then. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, we will be asking you the questions. Stay tuned to Today95.1
FM. Company for property business. Odibola.
People, I hail you now. This na the Odibola seasonal land sales awoof promo. For Odibola property, every day don't turn Christmas as we don't package 2 of our new property for just a chinkini money. Skyview layout Omagwa will be 1 million naira before. The price don't come down to 750,000 naira per plot. And Treasure layout where they for Ikwo Iguru Tali School Road will be 800,000 naira before. Now the price now just 650,000 naira per plot. All the particulars and documents will concern the land they ready. As you pay, you dey collect. No dull yourself. Carry waka sharp enter our office for Odibola House. Nyemweli Insirim layout off Tombia Extension GRFS 3 inside Port Harcourt so that you go enjoy this better awoof promo. Call Mr. Promise for 07030010173. Lisa on top 07062641169. With Odibola property, you go get peace of mind if you do business with us.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
All right, a lot of questions on our mind this afternoon. First is, what is the fate of the future of Nigeria if the leaders of tomorrow are denied education? 30 million people out of school, a couple of them, being, sent to various homes as wives, children wives or child wives. I need to put that in child wives. A lot of them are sent to homes as child wives. What is the fate of the future of Nigeria if our children, our young people are denied education? Of course. There's also the question, what is the government's premium on education in the country? What is the government's premium on education in the country? Talking about, how we award our students in the times when they have come out from institutions with good grades. How will this negligence, on the part of whether it's the institution or the government or whoever is in authority, how will this affect the academic interest and the competition, for the quest to graduate well? How will this affect it in our various tertiary institutions or varsities, as the case might be? And now the numbers to call in are 0817 000 0951 and 0810 9510 951. Let's get to talk for the development of the educational sector. Like I said, the statistics is not in our favor. The future looks bleak if we'll continue like this. And it is time that you put your 2 cents on this very topic. The phone line buzzing. I'm going to go straight to the phone lines.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, St. Henry, calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, welcome, St. Henry.
Yeah. Well, if you ask me to answer your question directly, I think the way we are going educationally, the future is very bleak. Very, very bleak. Okay, come to think of it, we have just had, from the interpretation given by the Supreme Court, sorry to take us that way,
all right,
that it does not matter. Okay? That it does not matter. And that is why we see now you ask of the reward system. the reward system is so discouraging. Even the idea of what was it called? What's this free education that was given to good people in schools now?
You just said it, that free education. Go ahead.
No, that you select some people and give them free scholarship. Good.
All right.
Scholarship system is dying. It used to be very regular back in the days. You understand, for good students, but it is dying. There's hardly any school that gives scholarship now. They may be there, but they are not as much as they are supposed to be. But you find out where programs, you gather people in a room, they commit all sorts of immorality. At the end of the day, they win 10 million to 40 million, go home with cars, people celebrate them. But there is never any academic program that will give people, that will make people say, no, education is all going. What do we get from government? 70 naira per meal per student. That's the encouragement that will make children come to school. You know, thank God for one institution in Port Harcourt now. Thank God for one institution in Port Harcourt now that has taken free school as a mandate, feeding them, taking people, giving them houses. I mean, the best students, giving them houses and cars. And if you go to that school, everybody wants to go to the school, no matter how rich you are, even though it is meant for the poor.
All right. Then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in there, Send Ari. Keep your calls coming. I lost that other one. Do call me back. 0817-000-0951 and 0810-951-0951. 95.1 FM. Listen.
Well, honestly, did a lot of justice to this topic.
Yes, I was just staring at her when she was talking. I was wondering where it was coming from.
I was just listening to her. She was just flowing. I said, now, honestly, I have a lot of respect for her because almost every topic.
Listen, I don't like this respect.
No.
Keep your respect to yourself. Go straight to the topic.
Thank you very much.
No. Calada, I was so impressed, honestly, this afternoon. But maybe
let's go straight to the topic, please. I'm jealous already. Yes.
Look, yes. See, the Nigeria. When you talk of Nigeria education here in Nigeria, it makes me laugh. People are talking about scholarship. Those days when I was young, growing up, all my uncles were sent abroad by River State government. All of them studied abroad. I am telling you, different countries. You understand? They all came back. You understand? And at the end of the day, I cannot see what, you understand, they have done with the education. Really, they just get employed and they are working. Nigeria education is funny. And that's why, see, there was a time Obasanjo went to Ekiti State. Ekiti State is the state that has very lot of professors. There is no state that has professors more than Ekiti State. That's why they refer to themselves as fountain of knowledge. You understand? Obasanjo went there and asked a famous question. See, today, nobody has answered that question. There is no family in Ekiti that don't have a professor. So he looked at it and he said, Obasanjo said, fountain of knowledge. Fountain of knowledge for what? You understand? With all the professors and all that, in what way have they used their education to transform Ekiti State? You understand? That's the question of Obasanjo. When I look at Keke, just take a look, it's as simple as Keke, a simple piece of engineering. Look at it. None of our investors can even come up with it. You understand? No, but none of them research. When you talk of the investors, how many of them are researching? When you go travel abroad, the investors fund themselves from researches. You understand? So most of this military, you see their equipment that they use are from the universities abroad. They do a lot of our investing here is to strike and ask for more money, ask for more money. Believe me, forget even those numbers that are dropped out of school, even the ones that PhD, that one time when you see their compliment card, you will even be afraid. But at the end of the day, what have they done with the education? You understand? So it's a general problem. You look at universities, you see the amount of universities, see the amount of polytechnics. Ghana, there was those days in the 80s, early 80s, my elder sister, she married to a Ghanaian. And you need to see this man when he came, he was hot in those days. So for me, let me conclude. For me, you understand, I feel our education, you understand, has failed to address Yes, our problems, societal problems in Nigeria. Therefore, there is no education in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right then. You also had to flow like because you say you're respecting wealth now. You know how to flow the way she was flowing. No wala. God is watching you people. 95.1 FM. Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. What's your name?
Evangelist.
All right, Evangelist, can you speak up? I can't hear you. Speak up, please.
Do you remember that I'm writing a book on that?
You keep reminding me every time I take up education.
the fraudulent of Western education.
All right, then.
Now, you see, Alexander the Great, the time Greek conquered the world, they put their language, Greek language, on the whole world. And it was free of charge.
All right.
But the British people imposed it on us, and we paid through the nose.
Right.
And the same people, they see that technology from us, and they imposed.
Where are you going with this one now?
The same people that brought us education imposed cattle riders on us. Cattle riders are really professors. Is it a fraudulency?
I don't understand where you're going with your argument. I'm trying my best to understand you.
It is Britain that imposed cattle riders on us.
How do you mean by Britain imposed cattle rearing? Because cattle rearing was a style for the nomadic people
nomadic lifestyle.
Right from independence, Britain handed power to Abuki.
All right, then. That's not what we're talking about, Evangelist Chigozie. Thank you very much for that conversation. 95.1 FM.
Yeah, 95.1, eh?
Yes, 95.1 it is.
Yeah, my name is George.
All right, George, welcome.
Yeah, can I have my take on the self-execution?
Nah, it's not been discussed. It's not been discussed. But you get a chance to talk about it tomorrow because we have our correspondents in Yenagua who will be giving us live details about what is happening in the elections.
I saw the details. I saw the details, the brief now.
Yeah, but it was breaking news. We're not talking about it. It's all breaking news. Thank you very much for calling in. Nonetheless, 95.1 FM.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I want to look at it a little differently.
Okay, what's your name first off?
Eric from Port Harcourt.
You're welcome, Eric. Go on.
Thank you. You see, we need to put research at the forefront of everything we do. It's basic. And then there is something called innovation. You know, you can see cars, when they bring this one, they modernize it, add it, the next one they add it. You see the same engine, the same for a little modification here and there. We cannot throw away our educational system. We may say that the operators are not doing good, or that politics has permeated it, or that a few other things are bad with it, but it's not completely bad. In the early days that people are talking about, maybe 60s, 70s, the days of our fathers, things were moving fine. The curriculum was okay, it was suitable. But what has happened is that Nigeria was not moving as fast as technology was moving, as fast as innovation was moving. So people have left off behind. You know, let me speak specifically now, agricultural science.
All right.
When we were in school, you know, they will teach you botanical names,
and loamy soil, clay soil,
clay and whatever. But today, people have gone ahead, you know. You hear things like genetically modified seeds, improved seeds, high yielding seeds. You know, using continuous cropping and make the soil fertile, and use fertilizer and whatever to make. You understand? Then you now hear industrialized farming, mechanized farming, and all that kind of thing. So Nigeria has not killed him. We are still doing theory. Whereas today's learning is theory, practical, technology, innovation, and whatever, and then research. So we need to incorporate a few things into what we are currently doing so that it will be purpose-driven. It will be suitable, fit for purpose. We cannot say that, of course, people will still go to school and learn 1 + 1 is 2, divide the x, 2x + y, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They are still basic.
Right.
But there are things that have come in now that Nigeria has not consciously adopted.
All right.
So I think that the ruling class, especially the educational sector, let's not talk about the ruling class, whoever is the Minister of Education must be able to go to places, import current suitable technology to the Nigerian curriculum, and then we'll practice it along, and it will help our system.
All right then.
That is how it is.
Thank you very much for calling in, Eric. Now I want to ask you a question now, Wealth. Have you heard of the word hydroponic? You've heard of the word hydroponic? You're nodding your head. What does it mean? Now, you see, a lot of you out there probably also have not heard of the word hydroponic. I had to go on, even myself, I had to go on and Google right about now to research that word. Why? Because we are talking about diversifying our economy, and agriculture has been fingered to be the sector that will replace crude oil. But where is our technology? Because the rest of the world is not just mechanized farming. A lot of you I listened to the last caller and he was talking about mechanized farming. It's not just about mechanized farming. The world has moved. Hydroponic is another way to grow a plant or a crop without using soil. So now, while we are still learning in primary school 4 types of soil, clay soil, humids, help me, who knows agric? Back to the phone lines. 95.1 FM.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, my name is Casey.
Yeah, Casey, welcome.
Yeah, if you are looking at the education system in Nigeria, I will ask, how can we develop with this quota system?
Quota?
You know,
yeah, that's another way to look at it. Yeah.
Some people from the particular state is being admitted into school based on the so-called educational advantage state. And at the end of the day, those educational advantage states are the ones that will be ruling and deciding for those that are so referred as advantage.
All right.
You know, look at this, our unity system, this unity school. Nigeria borrowed that from India. And that unity school were exceptionally many in India for students with exceptional intelligence. Then when they get to Nigeria, it becomes federal character. Our person must be there. You know, some people are admitted, maybe if the standard is 100 marks, somebody that scored 13 is being admitted against somebody who scored 80. And the same thing goes in university. So how do we move forward with such a system where education is not being done based on merit? And the same thing goes with employment.
All right.
You can see the last Minister of Education, Madam, he said it took him 3 years to understand the educational system. So with somebody as a minister, how will he make policy that will move the education system forward in Nigeria?
All right.
You know, until this federal character that is being done in everything, this quota system is being taken off, we are not going anywhere. We remain primitive and crude in everything.
All right then. Thank you very much for calling in there. Thank you very much. It's today's hustle here on Today 95.1 FM. Wealth Wilson and I, Kalada, in the studio. And right about now, we've got 5 minutes left. And we will be taking your calls as we are talking about the educational system. And we're looking at the reward system. We're looking at how efficient is the curriculum in the educational system. And it's very pertinent if we talk about it because this is the future of our dear country. Because then again, knowledge to say is power. What power does Nigeria have? 95.1 FM.
Canada and world. Good day. This is DK.
DK, welcome.
Let me start with the last concept you were trying to explain to us.
Hydroponic. You mean?
Okay. Yes. I do not really think we need it.
Really?
They say invention is necessitated by need.
Okay.
We were taught those things in a different name in our days called water culture solution.
Okay.
Where you have the necessary nutrients that support the plant, which is in the ground, and you put them in the water, and things can grow.
DK, can I argue with you for a bit now?
Maybe I have to go a little before you come in.
No. Just on that one, where you say it's not necessary, because I'm looking at our environment now. We are suffering from climate changes, where flood seems to be killing a lot of our crops and our plants, and yet people cry every day, oh, the water has taken away our produce. And so you don't think that if we do what you call the water solution,
water
culture solution,
yes, I understand,
you don't think
what
that
you
is
mean.
Necessary? You don't think it's necessary?
Yes, but I think the technology we are talking about is actually more prevalent in the Middle East, and some countries with barren fertility. So you see them like in Israel, they crush rock mixed with fertilizer, with water, and they plant something exotic. But we are living in a continent where you just eat fruit, throw away the seed. It grows on its own and produce something. Yet we are not making use of the available fertile ground given to us.
Yeah.
But let me even move away from that to education. You see, the educational sector in Nigeria needs total overhaul, just like other sectors. Let's start from the facilities. There are schools very close to your station. Get to Unifor there. In general courses, you see students in the convocation arena of almost 1,000 facing one lecturer. With the public address system, they cannot even hear. So they are just there to fulfill righteousness. They are not hearing anything. And many other facilities like that.
I used to think they had these loudspeakers, or what they call that.
Public address system.
Is it public address system people call it?
Yes, the loudspeaker, anywhere you can call it. How the audio system that the teacher is supposed to reach out to students.
Yeah. I thought they used to have that in Unifor.
And not they, even when they are not there, not effective enough to cover the large numbers of students.
All right.
Then you move to the one of teachers. Teachers supposed to be trained and be retrained.
All right, then.
Some of them still use old lectures notes they inherited when they were students to teach.
All right,
and it's not their fault. Because the intellectual climate in this country is not conducive for propagation of ideas.
All right.
So when you blame them, I think people are just making mistakes. Then you go to the student attitude themselves. It does not show functional education, the way they behave and all of that. So I think our curriculum is even defective. It's not complete with what's supposed to make a student a fully functional person. So you need total overhauling. That's my view. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in, DK. And that's the much we can take on the show, because it is that time when we get to do the news update at 3 p.m. And after that, it's today's Sports Live. So stay tuned to Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon to you.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Good afternoon, here's the news update at 3 on Today 95.1 FM. I am Kala Dakar Batbo. Now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt has granted an ex-parte order of injunction restraining the Independent National Electoral Commission from disqualifying the governorship candidate of APC in Bayelsa State elections holding tomorrow, the 16th of November 2019. The three-man appeal court panel led by Justice A.O. Lukman Sodipe also restrained INEC from executing the orders of the Federal High Court to remove the name and logo of the All Progressives Congress and his governorship candidate, David Lyon, for the governorship elections holding Saturday in Bayelsa. Justice Odipe in the ruling held that the panel abides by the decision made by Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal, which compelled INEC to maintain status quo from the 18th of September 2019, when the matter was instituted pending the determination of motion or notice for interlocutory injunction. The appeal panel thereafter ordered that applicants serve all the respondents' notices and other processes before adjourning till 21st of November for mention. Speaking to Newsband, counsel to governorship candidate of APC, Michael Numa, welcomed the decision of the appeal court, while he said it has given the APC and his governorship candidate the opportunity to participate in Bayelsa State governorship election holding tomorrow. In an interview with correspondent Uchendu Ejowo, counsel to APC, Sydney Igbanichuka insisted that the position of the Court of Appeal will give opportunity to correct every wrong in the decision of the Federal High Court in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has assured that contrary to fears, elections will hold normally in the riverine areas of Kogi and Bayelsa State. INEC head of publicity Oluwole Osaze Uzi gave the assurance following fears expressed by stakeholders that the commission may not be able to conduct election in riverine areas because of the terrain. Osaze Uzi said the challenges experienced in the past have been identified and corrected, adding that materials have already been deployed to the riverine areas in Kogi and Bayelsa.
By the time we went to the chairman of the commission and the commission went to Bayelsa 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago for the stakeholders, all electoral materials, non-sensitive material, were already on ground. Same thing, ditto with Kogi. Not just hearing it and sitting in an air conditioned office and hearing reports from your field officer, but actually going there. And he had inspected several local governments in each state. And there we were, randomly, the materials were there, batched word by word, registration areas, and ready to go. Then these more sensitive materials, of course, we could not take them so early, but they are already they were, as I yesterday, in the vaults, moved from the vaults of the central bank locations. In the riverine areas, not only apart from our personal visits to some of those areas, not just in Ogwa, Chairman went around, we have a platform where you must give us photograph reports with photographs, evidence, photographs, videos of your going to your rack centers.
Ahead of 2020 budget presentation by Rivers State Government, Governor Yeson Wike has been tasked to take cognizance to improving on education, employment, security, health, and electricity. Community participation in inclusive government and open governance participation by citizens and communities across the state have also been highlighted as key to ensure public trust, transparency, and accountability in project allocation and implementation. These, amongst others, are the recommendations of a research and community need assessment report by Media Awareness and Justice Initiative conducted across 319 political wards in the state. Ikechukwu Aka, who is the project officer of the group, told newsmen in Port Harcourt that improving on education, employment, security, health, and electricity would help in developing people and the state at large. Also speaking, one of the project consultants, Kentebe Ebiarido, spoke about a lack community in Eleme local government, which he said have suffered lack of electricity and potable water for years, just as he called on government to intervene. A former Minister of Information, Alex Akinyele, has died at the age of 81. A son of the late Minister, Constantine Akinyele, said the former minister died last night after a brief illness. Akinyele, who was the public relations expert, was a pioneer spokesperson of the Nigerian Customs Service. He was also the Secretary General and later President of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations. Finally, on the foreign scene, India's Supreme Court has agreed to review its landmark judgment allowing women of menstruating age to enter a controversial Hindu shrine. A 5-judge bench last year ruled that keeping women out of the Sabarimala shrine in the southern state of Kerala was discriminatory. The verdict led to massive protests in the state. Women who tried to enter the shrine were either sent back or in some cases even assaulted. The move is likely to anger women who fought hard to win the right to enter the temple. Hinduism regards menstruating women as unclass them from participating in religious rituals. And that's the size of the news updates at 3. Thanks for listening. I am Kala Dakarubatsbo. Today's Sports Live is up next with Dubem Njoku. Thank you very much for listening.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Sunshine or rain, through every terrain.
Everywhere I turn, it's football, football. There's your fairy tale.
So why not join in the action? Intrigues, excitement, and fun.
Just doesn't get better than this.
Many stars have continued to shine with every ace, every race, every break, and every other sports there is.
Incredible stuff.
On today's Sports Live, reaching you from your premium news, talk and sports radio station. Today, 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
That sounds like so much fun.
Weekdays after the news at 3. It's interactive, it's engaging, and don't forget, your voice is priority.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live. Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
You know, there are a few areas that define a man, like sports.
I think we can live with that.
All right, a very good afternoon and welcome to another great edition of Today Sports Live, reaching you from your darling frequency 95.1 Today FM right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Of course, my name is Chidubem Njoku, the Chief Justice of Sports, and I'll be bringing you up to speed with the latest happenings in the world of sports. And I've got the beautiful one here to do justice to those businesses. Of course, lots to talk about from the local scene here. And of course, tennis, not forgetting tennis, the ATP finals going on currently. And Rafael Nadal will be in action very shortly, even as we saw Roger Federer, against maybe so many odds yesterday, getting the job done against Novak Djokovic. That man can no longer finish as the year-end number 1. And of course, MPFL actions are plenty this weekend, Euro qualifiers as well, and lots to talk about in the camp of the Olympic Eagles. They are in action this evening. What do you think is going to be the outcome of that game against South Africa? It's more or less a make-or-break tie. Failure to win that one could just cost the Olympic Eagles or Nigeria the place at next year's Olympic Games in Tokyo. And these and many more we are going to be discussing on the show this afternoon. So you don't have to go anywhere. But like I said, I've got a pretty one with me here in the building. Dorcas Cookie, a sports diva. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon to you, Chidubem. It's always fun to be here. Good afternoon to you all out there listening to us. Good afternoon to everybody who is not here and also would like to be joining us in or later on in the show. It's always fun to be here to talk loads of sports.
Of course, the show is very interactive, so you can be part of it. You just simply need to hit us up on WhatsApp. The number is 0701 933 9962. I think that's again 0701 933 9962. Or you could also buzz us at Twitter at TodayFM951 and mention me in your tweet as well at ChidubameNJ. That is ChidubameNJ, or at SportsDiva4. The show will be right back after the short timeout.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live.